Hey y'all, hey, it's JJ Conway. Welcome to Building Wealth Together, where our goal is to help you walk in abundance and leave a legacy. It's Saturday morning, so you know what that means. It's time for Juice with JJ, where we talk about things that make you go,
Today, we're going to talk about why many of us help other people, not just out of our abundance, but actually to the detriment of our own health, our own financial standing, our own family relationships, our own self-expression, and our own spiritual growth. I remember the day when I realized I had things all backwards. I had a friend back then who was trying to tell me to build my business first and then use my millions to change the world. Well, I believe we should still have a habit of giving back, but I realized the value of what she was saying all these years when I was sitting down with a financial client and trying to explain to them mathematically why it made more sense for them to pause buying all the stuff they were buying for their family members, things like clothes for mom and dad, glasses for their nieces and nephews, and just pause that for a little bit. Those things sounded good, but they were causing her to be maxed out on debt. My point was, take a few years, clean up the debt, and then give to your family out of your abundance. That's when I realized what my friend had been trying to tell me about all this. I started teaching these in my Building Wealth Together classes, and you can see a video on the concept on my YouTube channel. It's called Financial Stability, Get Your Own Wealth First. Therapist Deborah Ward on Psychology Today says that highly sensitive people, or HSPs as she calls them, tend to help others instead of themselves because they tend to attract people into their lives who need help. She says this is for 3 reasons. 1, they remind you of someone from your past. That's very similar to the concept I've told you about in the past with the Reinvent Your Life book. While none of us would consciously choose someone we thought was unkind or abusive, we can become attracted to negative people because they remind us of someone from our past. This is usually a subconscious choice. If your father was a bully, you'll be tended to attracted to men who are bullies. If your mother was bossy, you'll tend to be attracted to bossy women. We don't want to be with this kind of person, but everyone is attracted to what is familiar. You might remember from the last time I talked about the Life Trap book, they said in there a lot of times when we feel intense chemistry with someone, it's because they're actually keying into the negative portions of our upbringing and they're representing someone for us to fix or something that we can try to make right in the future. Whoa. Once we realize we're involved with someone who makes us feel just as bad as our parent did, however, then we feel angry and resentful and we try to get our partner to change and love us the way we always wanted to be loved. It becomes painful being with this person because you are constantly reminded of the pain you suffered in the past while your efforts to get your needs for love and respect are constantly thwarted. This process can keep us entangled and struggling for years. The key to avoiding this is to become aware of the kind of person you tend to be attracted to based on your own past and to recognize you cannot change that person. People can only change themselves and only if they want to. You've heard me say that many times about trying to help a family member get right with money. And if you don't want a relationship that is similar to a painful relationship from your past, you need to ensure that your current relationship is about mutual love and respect, not struggle. If it isn't, and your partner doesn't want to change, it may be time to move on. The second reason she says that some of us give and don't ever take care of ourselves is because we're rescuers. You may not be aware of it, but some of us are attracted to those who need help because it feels good to help them. Most of the time, we're not even aware of this motivation ourselves. And while it appears to be based on a desire to help others, the underlying reason for wanting to rescue someone is so they will need us. A rescuer needs to be needed because deep down, they believe that's the only way they will be worthy and lovable. It also allows the rescuer to feel good about themselves because they feel more capable than the person they are rescuing. You believe they are weak and you are strong. But in reality, this dynamic only serves to keep you tied to people who demand your service to them while they give little or nothing to you in return. Over time, your self-esteem weakens because you are not getting your needs for love and support met, while your partner's needs become the focus of the relationship. If you think you might be a rescuer, please recognize that your needs are important too, and you should be and will be loved for who you are, not what you do for others. Now, I tended to fall into this category for an actual different reason, and that is just I felt so horrible about myself. I thought I was just the lowest loser ever back when I was in college, and I don't even know how I felt that way because I went to the Air Force Academy. Like, you think I would have thought I was awesome, right? But college is a tough time for a lot of us, and I really hit my low while I was there at the academy. That's a whole nother story. But one of the things that I discovered in early adulthood was that my helping people and always volunteering to help people and always giving of myself was because I felt so bad about myself that I just felt like the more I could do to help others would make me feel better about who I was. It wasn't so much about them being less than me. In fact, I actually thought the people I was helping was better than me. But it still was me helping for the wrong reason. And many of us who give and don't take care of ourselves, if we do some self-introspection, we find out that we really are giving for the wrong reason. And I'm talking about giving not just money, but time and energy and resources. All right, number 3 reason she says that we give and don't take care of ourselves is that we're too focused on the goal instead of the person. Once we become emotionally involved, it becomes really easy to focus on that person and their needs, and it's very difficult to leave. It's especially true for highly sensitive people because our innate compassion and caring nature compels us to help. And because we can often feel what others are feeling, when we sense that someone's hurting, we just want to help them. We want to make it better. Now look, even though it feels good and kind to help them, we can easily become absorbed and help too much. Now, another reason people tend to do this is because they just don't know how to help ourselves, or we don't even want to know how to help ourselves. Or maybe we're afraid of the steps, the effort, or the cost that it takes to help ourselves, because there is a cost. Because when you stop giving to your detriment, and you start taking care of yourself first, even if you're still giving, there are people you are no longer giving to and helping. And that can mean the endings of some things. It's just so much easier to play the role of helping others. And as Ms. Ward mentions, she says we continue to bury ourselves in helping others. I think about this, and I think about how it is that we give, and then at the end of the night, we're out of time, talent, energy. We don't have any kind of strength left to do what we really need to do. And then we either feel like, oh, well, it's not my fault that I don't have the time, or we feel victimized by, these people took up all my time. Either way, we don't feel quite as responsible as we would if we just had met the issue head on. Now, one problem I have is the problem of knowing what I need to do, but feeling like I'm not good enough, smart enough, or capable enough to do it. And you would think, JJ, you're building an international, multi-million-dollar company, you're changing lives, and you are a force to be reckoned with in your community. Yes, I am all of that, but you know what? Every so often, that specter of doubt raises its ugly head. I'll give you an example. I'm on my 3rd semester of doctoral studies now, and every single assignment of the first 2 semesters, I would procrastinate. I'd hem and haw, and I'd often turn to my products late because it took me a good 8 hours of surfing on Facebook or building volunteer products for everyone else before I would buckle down and do my work. And I'm not talking about 5 years ago. I'm talking about last year, y'all. And my work was good quality research, but I would always just start each assignment like, I don't know what they want me to do. I don't know how to figure this out. The instructors don't give me enough guidance, and I hesitant to keep asking because part of your getting your doctorate is being able to do the research yourself and synthesize the idea yourself. And I don't want them to think I'm dumb, and I don't want them to think I'm one of those entitled minorities that doesn't want to do their own work. Have you ever just had the laundry list of excuses as to why you can't be successful in whatever it is you're facing? Whether it's doctoral work or cleaning the floor, we'll come up with any reason not to do something that we either don't want to do or we don't feel like we can do well enough. And the sad part for me is it took me a while to figure out that most of the instructors that I've had in that program loved my writing. They loved my research and they loved my conclusions. My grades showed that it was not a lack of talent. My grades showed that when I put my nose down and actually get the work done, that I really can do it. And not only that, y'all, do it well. This fear of failure is one of the biggest dream killers my clients have ever seen. And that's why I'm passionate about uncovering these hidden blocks so you can move forward and step into the elevated life that you were called to live. Now, if that sounds like you, then you need to be in the self-image introduction class that we had, okay? It's already done, but you can jump into it. Now, before I move on from this, let me give you a couple of indicators that you are falling prey to this trap of helping others instead of helping yourself. Some of them are tricky, so hear me out. All right, number one, you got nothing, but you always have to give to others. Wait, what? JJ, how on earth could you say this is a bad thing? First of all, it's not bad to be giving. More people in our culture need to have a giving heart. It's just that I get this a lot with my single parent or teacher blessings from people who don't realize that when you don't prioritize yourself or your family, you are sending out negative energy to the universe. Now, this is not a new agey thing, all right? When I meet someone, I instantly get a vibe if they're the type of person that I can push to do things for me at their expense. Now, I don't, because I take my calling very seriously, and scripture expressly forbids taking advantage of people. As many of you know, when I get a donation for single moms or for teachers or military, I try to pass it on ASAP because I don't like to hold on to God's money, right? Or donations. So I feel really bad sometimes when someone keeps getting nominated, but they don't respond to me in a timely manner, and then they lose that blessing. But I'm going to tell you, the other thing that really breaks my heart is the number one argument people will use to justify their nomination, why this particular single mom is deserving, or why this particular teacher needs the blessing, is, oh, they work so hard, and they do for everyone else for themselves. You know, I hear stories about the mom who scrounged up $500 to help a friend in need, but she couldn't even afford thrift store clothes for her kids. I hear about the teacher who got evicted from her home because she paid for her sister's surgery instead of rent. All these people sound good and sweet and Christian, right? No. They don't sound good to an investor looking to make a difference in your life. See, the people who fund my blessings, they're looking to bless you and your family tree. They want to change your life. See, they're not going to pay your water bill for a year so you can go plan your mom's Las Vegas birthday trip with the money you save. They're looking to bless people who will take that blessing and bear fruit with it, which means getting your money together, getting out of debt, making decisions that grow your family, not hinder it. They're looking for people who will take the teacher blessing and change lives with it. They want to put a smile on the face of someone who's working hard with solid priorities to encourage them that they can make it. They're not trying to give you money so you can go give it to your druggy brother or so that you can bail your sister out of jail one more time. You know, 20 years ago, I had a friend, and this example has always stuck with me. She lived in this crummy apartment in a crummy area of town, single mom with 2 little kids. They're now growing, doing great things. So if you're listening, good on you, mama. I'm so proud of you and what you've done in the ministry and with your kids. But back then, she was struggling, and the neighborhood she was able to afford wasn't that great. So a coworker gave her $100 to apply to a better apartment. Man, I was so happy for her. I was like, wow, this is the Lord, right? Except she told her pastor about it. And that night at church, the pastor convinced her to give the pastor that money. Oh, I was so angry at her. I was angry at the pastor and angry at my friend. I was like, but he gave you that money for an apartment. How are you going to explain to him that you gave your money to the pastor? And that's what a lot of us are doing. We may not be giving all our money to the pastor, but God has given us the money to do what we need to. He's given us the time to do what we need to. He's given us the resources to do what we need to. He's put the people in our path to do what we need to, and we squander it. We take our time and give it to Facebook or Pinterest or Insta. We give our money and resources to people who just take and never give. Instead of appreciating the people that are in our direct path, like our families, we almost kick them to the curb so we can help somebody else. And then we're in prayer, Lord, help me. And he's like, I did, but you didn't use what I gave you for the good I intended it. Woo. You know, when I first started writing this lesson, I was procrastinating from my doctoral homework. I had to stop writing and do that first. So this isn't just me talking to you, y'all. This is me talking to us. Okay. You know, I was going to give you some more, but we are really out of time for the Juice with JJ today. I tell you what, we're going to pick this back up next week. But I want you to know we got to stop beating ourselves up. We got to stop kicking our primary love relationships to the curb. We got to stop giving away everything for free and then getting mad that no one's buying from us. We got to stop spending tons of money of chasing after the next course or person that's going to help us succeed. And I'm going to talk about all of those next time on Juice with JJ. Thanks for listening. Y'all take care and be blessed.
If you enjoyed this podcast, make sure you subscribe at jjconway.org. Now go walk in abundance and leave a legacy.